This has been a really long-standing campaign, but I'm not going to even say it was the CPSU. It was actually, this stemmed from Public Service International People's Inquiry into Privatisation all the way back in 2017, which did a bit of a road trip all around Australia, talking to unions, the community sector, anyone who was interested in coming along. And unsurprisingly, it found that privatisation just doesn't work. From here, the CPSU, actually our former political lead, Karen Atherton, she came to me one day and she said, I really think this is something, the findings of the People's Inquiry into Privatisation is something that the CPSU should put into action. And I think the ACT government will be the place to do it. So we thought, okay, big job, but we'll give it a go. And so we started doing our campaign plan. And we are lucky in that we have both a fantastic membership here in the ACT government, and we also have a long-term Labor pro-worker government as well, which really helped move things along, particularly when our industrial, any movement on the industrial side of things has been really dampened in the past 10 years because we've had a Conservative government at the federal level. So we're able to find a local, territory government where we could actually do this. So, okay, so back in July 2020, we officially launched the Public Services in Public Hands campaign with the view to, there was a territory election in, oh God, when was it? Like October or November 2020. I've blanked it out of my memory. And we got members involved. So it wasn't just us at the union running it. We were doing petitions. We were getting our members who were affected going and meeting with ministers and backbenchers to talk about the impact that this would have on their work and the quality of work that could be delivered if all these services that over generations have been outsourced to the private sector, not for profits, NGOs, if they were done by the government with everything that comes along with that. So a better service delivery, but also we know that government jobs, generally speaking, have much better pay and conditions than doing the equivalent work in the private sector or the NGO sector. So from July all the way through the end of the year, we ran a really big election campaign trying to pressure the ACT government into committing to an insourcing framework. So as you can see here, we had members coming in and making phone calls. We actually had, you can see our Deputy Chief Minister in the photo here as well, coming along and doing phone calls. And it was in support of candidates who said that they would be standing up for public services and secure jobs. There was no way we were going to be campaigning for anyone who didn't agree to that agenda. So just prior to the election, oh, sorry, don't know why it's, here we go, we had a win. So the ACT Labor, of which Minister Gentleman is a minister, committed to protecting our public services to make sure that they stay in public hands. Now, it's fantastic to get that commitment, but there was still more work to do because while ACT Labor is in government, we are now sharing government with the ACT Greens Party. And I think most of you in your countries have a Greens Party, same sort of thing here, which meant there had to be a parliamentary governing agreement between both parties. And thankfully, we had good people at the table from the Labor Party who managed to include the following that you can see here, which is their commitment to legislate to prevent the outsourcing or privatisation of public sector jobs and implement a whole of government policy that government services will not be contracted out where they could be performed by public servants. So again, that was a really big step in our campaign to get that agreed to by both the Labor Party and the Greens. And again, through all of this, our members were pushing for this to happen and happen quickly. So I won't go into this, sorry if this is an older presentation, I won't go into the ins and outs of it because we've got our ACT government colleagues here to do that. But what we do have is a commitment for legislation to be in place by the end of 2022. And what you've been sent around, and thank you so much to those that sent feedback through, because that will be incorporated. But now we have to actually get this right. So I'll stop talking and I'll throw over to our to Minister Gentleman and the ACT government officials to talk through the intricacies of it. I'll stop sharing. But yeah, needless to say, this has been a long-standing CPSU campaign, and our members are really, really passionate about it because they're passionate about public services. And it is great to have allies like Minister Gentleman actually sitting in cabinet and pushing this sort of thing. And I should say, because he didn't say it himself, Minister Gentleman is a lifelong unionist as well, and that is another reason he's fantastic in this portfolio. So, Daria, I can throw back to you or just throw straight to Minister Gentleman, whichever suits you.